My name is RG, and today I'm going to be talking about Fortnite's most controversial event ever, Fortnitemares. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you'll know just how big a deal Fortnitemares has been to the game. It's seen the introduction of zombies into the map, and the glider redeploy moving from just being in 750s to the normal solo, duo and squad playlists. Both of these changes have received a hell of a lot of discussion from the Fortnite community, with the response being polarising to say the least. So, was Fortnitemares a big success for Epic, or do they need to take the L? Well, let's take a look into each new feature, starting with clearly the biggest change yet, the addition of zombies to the map. With months of build-up, the Fortnite community was eager to find out exactly what was going to happen to the cube, with it moving around the map for weeks until it eventually caused the Loot Lake Island to rise above. I don't think anyone was expecting the cube to cause zombies to spawn on the map, as it was a major curveball from Epic. However, this resulted in a massive outcry of complaints from people on its release, with people frustrated that the zombies were annoying and completely changed the gameplay. So, let's start with the positives. Number 1. They're pretty well balanced. They don't take too long to kill, and they reward you with loot and shield, which is a great incentive to fight them. I often found myself going on the hunt for zombies any time I was low on shield or ammo, as I knew I could have everything I needed within a minute of fighting zombies, so in that sense, they were a major bonus and really helpful. Number 2. With the addition of zombies, it added a level of tension to the game that I've not felt since the early days of Season 1 and 2. There were many times that I would jump as I realised I was being chased by a massive horde of zombies. At times, I found this to be genuinely exciting. However, we then get to the negatives. Number 1. They're pretty damn annoying at times, especially endgame when there's a horde of zombies everywhere. They made it really difficult to use any healing items like medkits or chug jugs without having to waste a ton of materials trying to give you some space from them. And good luck trying to revive a teammate, because it's almost impossible at the end of matches, especially now that they've decreased the amount of time you have to revive a teammate, which can be incredibly frustrating. Epic realised they'd made a mistake, so on the 26th of October they released a patch that saw a decrease in zombie spawns, which definitely benefited the later stages of the game. However, that didn't completely stop the issue of being swarmed by zombies at the end, even though it was slightly better. Now we get to point number 2, which is that the zombies were so loud, which made it almost impossible to hear any footsteps, and people would sneak up on you so easily. I've killed so many people fighting zombies, it's ridiculous. Don't get me wrong, I like that it made for easy kills, but it shouldn't have been happening regardless. Then we get to point number 3, which is that they introduced zombies into all of the main playlists, whether it be solos, duos or squads, instead of them being in an LTM mode like many have wanted. I admire Epic for having the bravery to do this. They've got balls for not being afraid to make major changes to the game. However, in this instance, I think they've overreached with what they thought the community would be willing to accept, as the introduction of zombies was a major change to the game, which was always likely to receive a passionate response from the playbase. As Cypher PK said on stream, the introduction of zombies into the main playlists is like if they decided to add Thanos to every game mode, instead of being in an LTM. It's insane. And I completely agree, Epic should not have assumed that everyone would be willing to put up with this, as it is not what anyone signed up for. If you wanted to fight zombies, we'd have played Save the World, which coincidentally was 50% off at the time. Because of this, we've seen a lot of players decide to take some time away from the game, and with massive new games like Black Ops 4 and Red Dead Redemption 2 recently coming out, Epic couldn't have picked a worse time to potentially alienate a huge amount of their player base. Epic could have seen a massively different response from fans by simply making Fortnitemares an LTM, as it wouldn't have forced people into playing it. When you're being screwed over by zombies, your response is going to be way harsher to them if you're not choosing to have them in your game, as they've been forced into the gameplay. So not only are you getting killed because of zombies, but you're not even tuned to play against them, which I know from personal experience made me incredibly annoyed at times, especially on the first day of the event. Now, although the zombies really grew on me, I could understand that for a lot of players out there, they were a terrible addition to the game. So hopefully in the future, if they do anything like this again, they'll make them part of an LTM. Honestly, if they'd done this, I'd have said it was the best LTM ever, which I really didn't expect. I mean, on the first day, I was honestly considering not playing the game again until the event was over. I hated it as much as anyone else. However, once they fixed the server issues and I'd come to terms with it, I was able to have a great time with the event and was able to really appreciate the changes. So now we get to the glider redeploy change, which was another huge change to Battle Royale gameplay. This feature had been seen in Soaring 50s and Soaring Solos, playlists that allowed you to redeploy your glider at any time you were at 3 floors above ground, basically removing fall damage. Once again, let's start with the positives. Number 1. If you're high up and your build's getting destroyed, you can instantly fly down and prevent yourself from dying from fall damage. This is great for idiots like myself who are constantly dying from fall damage, whether it be being shot down or slipping off my own builds. This is also incredibly helpful if you're being third-partied whilst in a build battle. Number 2. It massively helps getting around the map. You can simply build a pie and glide to wherever you want to be. This means that you should never really be dying from the storm, and it incentivises landing all over the map. This is particularly helpful now they've removed most of the rifts, as you won't be getting screwed by the storm circle. It also helps to find people easily, which is really helpful if you're trying to get a high kill game. Number 3, it helps diminish the impact of RNG at the end game. Previously, if your opponent had launchpad and you didn't, then they would have a major advantage of being able to get to the circle quickly and easily, which would put you in a weak position where you can be sandwiched between the storm and your opponent. Now though, you can simply glide to the circle with ease, with your skill deciding who wins rather than who found the launchpad. Number 4. With Fortnitemares having zombies who destroy your builds, it was essential to have glider redeploy, as it stopped you from constantly falling onto them. This event would have been a disaster without the gliding and redeploy mechanic. However, we now get to the negatives of this glider redeploy feature, and there's definitely a few. Number 1. People can now run away from fights so easily. You can build well, damage your opponent until he's one shot from death, before he just glides away before you can even finish them off. I've had this a number of times and it's incredibly annoying. Yes, you can shoot at them whilst they glide, and you can try to catch them by gliding after them, but this isn't always possible, and when it happens, it's very frustrating. It's had a big impact on build battles, which were one of the biggest, most fun aspects of Fortnite, for myself and for many others. Number 2. Players are no longer punished for overbuilding. You've seen it countless times. A guy tries to push you, aggressively pushing you with ramps, but you spot a weakness and you shoot him down. Easy kill, right? No, not anymore. Anyone can simply glide away with ease, making fall damage a thing of the past. Yes, I've died from fall damage still, but that's beside the point. Because of this, the players can build higher and higher with no negative consequences, which takes little skill or intelligence. Number 3. What I think is potentially the biggest negative of the glider redeploy is the amount of third parties now happening. Season 6 has already been the season of third partying, with almost every fight seeing multiple people jumping in. What you thought was a simple 1v1 quickly becomes a 3 or 4 man fight, and it's frustrating, as there's very little you can do when you're getting attacked from all sides. As much as I enjoy flying into battle myself, it is far more irritating having to deal with others doing the same to myself, so I see this as a major drawback. Although this new feature received a lot of flack, it also received plenty of positive feedback, meaning Epic have decided to keep it in the game for the meantime, despite only being in the game for a test period initially, so there will be even more time for us to adapt to the change. And who knows, maybe it'll grow in the community. I personally am slightly warm to it, even though I'd still prefer it to go, but who knows how I'll feel in a week or two. So, overall, was Fortnitemares a success or a failure? Well, I guess you could say it's a bit of both. Personally, I had a great time during the event. I ended up enjoying the change of pace which zombies added, despite hating it initially. I had some of my best and most exciting games during this time. However, it's not all about me, and I can fully understand why people were upset about it. It completely changed the game and should absolutely have been an LTM. Despite this, I've got to applaud Epic for not playing it safe and having the balls to provide new features and keep innovating the game. Now that the cube has been destroyed and the zombies have gone, I'm excited to see what Epic has in store for the players. Let's just hope it's less controversial next time. So, what did you think of the Fortnitemares event? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What changes would you have made? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more. And I'll see you next time for another video. Goodbye.